Cheers! Welcome to Movie Bitches! Episode 236. Tonight we're reviewing The Lighthouse. We should just be in black and white.
We should make the whole episode in black and white?
Maybe.
4:3.
Exactly.
12 frames per second.
Wait, I love this. This might have already happened. Or it's gonna happen now. So first things first, make sure to subscribe, click the little bell button, share, thumbs up, comment, share, the Lighthouse,
That was real horsey.
it
was real Mr. Ed.
No, thanks. I'm a horse, not a guinea pig.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, all of those good things. So, The Lighthouse. Oh boy.
A movie that was perhaps produced for us.
I mean, it really was weird how many things from our reviews that we've talked about were then present in this movie.
It was interesting.
It was. I will say, I was shocked. So, okay, when I know nothing about this movie, and then you told me.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you were like, oh, it's in black and white. Oh, it's shot on like some old-timey camera. Oh, it's like all of this nonsense. And I was like, this is going to be some pretentious garbage and I'm going to hate it. This is not my kind of movie. Not going to lie. Didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it. Did it make me crazy? Yes. Was that the point? Yes.
So there you go.
Did I find it tedious and did I want to leave the theater? Yeah, I did. But I appreciate that was in many ways the intent.
Yeah. I think this movie really hinged on the two main performances.
Which were great.
They were fantastic.
Willem Dafoe definitely seemed like an animatronic pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, 100%. He was like whittling on that porch like, ye old mateys beware if you cross through this threshold. And I was like, yeah, yes. Yo, blow me down, old chimney. Yeah, I was like, yes. I could watch this for a while, just knitting. Remember when he was just knitting? I tell you a story about Long John Silver. It was real weird. I liked it.
It was a lot.
I really like Willem Dafoe, so that's all.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I realized too, aside from the fact that they were both fantastic actors, they were really committed.
Yes.
They were they were in.
Yes.
There was no wink to the camera. They weren't pretentious in their performance. They were so earnest.
Yes.
Particularly Robert Pattinson.
Absolutely.
Was so incredibly earnest in the insane things that he was doing that were happening. That it worked.
Yeah. It did. I agree. They were like fully committed to just like, oh, this is gonna be crazy.
Well, and apparently they just like lived in a cabin in Nova Scotia. Like all the weather was real weather. Like it was misery filming. Like they were using all these old timey cameras, and so they had to use extra lights, right? Because the camera didn't have enough.
Oh my god.
It seemed like a nightmare.
That sounds like an absolute nightmare.
But
it seemed like a nightmare.
They both really have faces for silent pictures. You know what I mean? Like they have very strong features, distinct faces. Yeah. And the high contrast of the whole movie was very like compelling. It was like, oh my god.
Absolutely. I will say it came and went. First of all, there were times where Robert Pattinson looked like he was like a 40-year-old weathered man.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, oh gosh, but also like hates Eddie. It was a weird gray area. But then there were times where it looked like they glued on his beard. And I was like, nah, this doesn't quite look right.
But their profiles, like their faces.
Yes. Oh no, absolutely.
Alone,
the strong jaws and the contrast and
just very distinct. They pop on screen. Like, it was good.
They were meant to be wikis.
Oh boy. Wiki and I wrote it down. There was some dialogue that I was like, yes?
Nothing for the harpies and the souls of dead sailors.
Right, so The Lighthouse, the new film by the guys who did The Witch.
Right.
Which I have yet to see, but I keep meaning to.
I don't.
Shucks, I don't think you'd like. The Witch is like straight up a horror movie, right? And it's, essentially Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe
Alone in a lighthouse.
Going mad in a lighthouse.
Sometimes polishing their lighthouses.
Often polishing their lighthouse.
There was a fair amount.
A fair amount of, polishing of their lighthouses.
This took such a different approach to The Light Between Oceans, and yet also a similar one.
I enjoyed this movie so much more than Light Between Oceans.
Well, certainly, because that one was so boring and stupid, whereas this was like at least interesting and like, oh, what's going on here?
What's happening here exactly?
Yeah.
I'm getting lost in Willem Dafoe's beard. I don't even know what's happened.
But that idea of like being alone on this island and like the kind of craziness that ensues, interesting.
I think the reason it was not scary for me is because while I found both the characters interesting and compelling, I in no way empathized with them or was worried for them. Like, I didn't really care when they were, I guess, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
If you're at all interested, I'd say you could go see it. I'd say try and see it in the theater. It was like an experience.
It is an experience.
I wouldn't give it like a thumbs up, everyone's gonna love this movie.
Oh, no.
No. But it was interesting.
Yes. If what we've said so far sounds intriguing, then you might like it.
Yeah. But like by the end, when they were, spoiler alert,
crazy,
killing each other.
Yes.
I was like, I don't really care.
No.
Like, I wasn't like, oh, shucks.
That's kind of for me where I was a little bummed with the film.
Yeah.
In that, like, I would have liked it to be a little bit more clear. Like, was Willem Dafoe literally gaslighting him? Because there's times where he'll be like...
Well, I think that's the whole point. Like, the whole thing is supposed to be a metaphoric, and you don't know any of the answers, and nobody does. It's what do you think? Yeah. That's the movie. So you're never going to get a clear-cut answer.
Right.
But I would have liked more... Because I find the idea of slowly going mad and not knowing your own brain terrifying, right?
Absolutely.
I find that to be effective and terrifying when it's done correctly. But for this, they didn't, like, stew in it.
No.
They weren't like, what do you mean it's been 3 weeks? They didn't really sit in it and go, oh no. And they didn't seem to care that they were going mad.
Right.
Really? Like, they weren't like, oh God, what have I become? They were just like, we're crazy.
Well, I guess because they both were crazy.
I feel like Willem Dafoe had moments of lucidity.
Sure.
And then he'd fall back, because he had been at this lighthouse numerous times. There was a previous lighthouse keeper who disappeared or whatever, we don't know. We find out, I guess, that he was killed.
Or was he?
We don't know.
Because that was, obviously the lobster cage filled with his head was not a real thing.
I have to say, I really appreciated the editing juxtaposition of Robert Pattinson in a full sailing Dickie slicker, just pulling up the lobster trap, this low shot of just the rope, and then cut in between him just like whacking it in the furnace room, and then just like whacking it in the furnace room. I was just like, yeah.
To the Little Mermaid talisman.
To the little, oh boy, who left him that? That's what I want to know.
It was left by the crazy person.
The person who died or left or whatever.
Yeah, who apparently killed himself, according to Willem Dafoe.
Now,
and that's kind of interesting too, that I like this idea of like, does the talisman make you go crazy and dream of sirens and whatever,
does it put that little earworm in your head?
Exactly. And then Willem Dafoe, being stuck with him for weeks on end, now also is going crazy. But then there was him, like, also jerking it to the light and staring at the light for hours on end.
I'll be honest, I was disappointed we didn't see Willem Dafoe's dick. I really thought it was gonna happen. I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm sad, but I was like, he's had it out in a lot of movies, and he's like, here it is. For show. So I was like, oh, we're done. I wrote down in my notes, like, okay, so when are we saying Willem Dafoe's dick? Oh, no, we didn't. Yeah, he's just, like, taking in all the light, getting too close to the... No, that is me, light. That's my light.
Oh, right.
Whatever.
Light is mine.
Yeah, I'm the only one that can control the light.
I don't know what that was.
I'm not really sure what it went
It's more my wire.
We went to a different place, much like Robert Pattinson's accent.
Where he just turned into JFK.
At a certain point, he was just like, your country needs you. It was really weird.
The day was long as hell on that drive, and I was lead tired, I admit it.
Apparently, it's a really specific main accent that he worked on a lot, and they put a lot of time into. But the fact that it just kind of went, it was like real harsh, and then it would come out. Maybe that was part of the madness, or because we find out at some point that Robert Pattinson has been lying. He's not the person he says he is. He took over a different person's life. So with
maybe
that, like,
it starts when he admits that.
Yeah, so I'm like, I think it did. So I was like, oh, is this his real accent coming out?
Right.
But it was just so straight right to JFK.
It really was.
Like, it was like the mayor from The Simpsons. Like, it was like, okay, wait.
But I saw him slipping, not me.
I need a drink and a shower.
Can we talk about the sound design?
Oh, God. Yes. I mean, it was very good for what it was trying to do, but Jesus Christ, it was driving me crazy.
That's the point.
I know.
So they get there, everything's bleak, they're on the island, and you start to just hear like every, I don't know, 8 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
it's like you're stuck in Inception.
You're stuck in Inception. And at first I thought, oh, that's just like the boat that dropped them off, like,
I did too.
that'll go away eventually. And then it just didn't. And I was like, oh no, this would make you insane.
Well, then I was like, oh my God, do they have to live with that all the time? And then I was like, oh, it's only when it's foggy. Foghorn. Duh. But
there was a lot of fog.
There was a lot of fog, turns out. So, like, Jesus Christ, that would drive me absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Just every 30 seconds, minute, whatever the fuck it was.
The wind and the sound design was so immersive
and crazy making.
And the seagull, we haven't talked about the seagulls.
Oh my God.
We haven't talked about Steven Seagal. There's pecking
on the window.
'Tis bad luck to kill a
seabird. I mean, it's albatross realness, you know.
Yeah, you know. Coming to get you.
I wouldn't say that the metaphors were necessarily subtle.
No.
But they weren't wrought either.
It wrote a line. There were so many references, I think, that made it complicated enough that it wasn't like, okay, well, you're just ripping this off. Like,
sure.
It was like, and it's layered with this, and this, and this, and this, and this on top, you know?
Right,
so
it's not just Old Man in the Sea.
Right, it's
or
not
Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, or
Moby Dick, or, you know, whatever else.
Whatever sea crazy
H.P.
story
Lovecraft.
you want to have.
No, I really thought, so what I thought the movie was going to become was a Cthulhu-esque, I'm going mad and I'm seeing these crazy creatures.
Right.
And I thought it would lean in more. Like, I was excited for it to go full Cthulhu, like, oh, what now? And it didn't really. It was all there, but it didn't, like, crescendo to, like, what? Sorry, what now?
Exactly. Well, here's what's interesting. So one of the things that starts to happen is that, like, when he thinks he's going to get picked up, he finally has a drink with him. And at first I thought, there's something wrong with the alcohol. Like, it's off, and that makes him crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe it did.
It's moonshine.
I don't know. Right, exactly.
Or I thought maybe Robert Pattinson is, like, a violent drunk or something.
Sure.
He's really trying to not...
But that didn't seem to really be much of a thing. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. They don't really explore it. But it's there. Oh my God. I mean, lots of silly scenes when they were drunk was really quite entertaining.
I mean, I laughed a lot, and I was the only one in the theater, so... Laughing, not the only person in the theater.
No.
I really thought more people would come to my side.
I know, but...
Because there were things that were straight up comedy beats. Like, there's no question, that was a joke. And I was like, and I really thought
I think sometimes people are afraid to laugh.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't have that problem.
No. But so they would have these, like, kind of old couple-y arguments.
Well, at a certain point, I was like, oh, this is just like a Cassavetes movie of, like, a couple, it was like documentarian style of, like, a marriage falling apart. And I was like...
This is actually a marriage story. Lighthouse edition.
But that's what it felt like. I mean, it was,
a little bit.
I'm not here to clean up your pet. You know,
exactly. It was just like, yeah, I'm not your wife, like, sitting, you know, it was interesting. It was fun.
I ain't never intended to be no housewife nor slave in taking this job.
Well, and then there was a lot of, like, Dom subness that started to come out, which we will get to.
Yes. But he takes a drink.
But, alright, so in one of their fights, they're talking about his cooking, and Willem Dafoe is like, you don't like my cooking?
He's like, I'm sick of eating if I had a steak, I'd fuck it. What are you saying? You don't like me cooking?
If I had a steak,
Oh, fuck it.
You don't like me cooking?
Oh, don't be such an old bitch.
Oh my god. But you like me lobster, don't you? Say you like me lobster.
This like drag out, knockdown fight.
Oh my
this whole
God.
thing.
All right, have it your way. I like your cooking.
All right, I guess your cooking is pretty good. Like it was just
so in this whole thing, he just curses Robert Pattinson, and he says, "I'm calling upon like Jupiter,
the winds of Poseidon,
come and fill him with like slime and whatever until his body bursts, and then the birds peck him out." And
I mean, it's what
happens.
Great,
but kind of, but not entirely. And so what we were saying when you were like, I wish it fully crescendoed into like crazy like mermaid or like whatever, the sirens and whatever. Like
tentacle porn.
I wish it had fully been that like the curse that Willem Dafoe had placed upon him like came to fruition.
Yes.
And it's like, what's this now?
Oh yeah, I would have loved it.
Yeah, but it doesn't quite go there.
I don't know how to explain it. It just didn't quite fucking go there.
Right.
It was like, oh, that was weird.
Yeah.
Oh. It was more about the performances.
It definitely
less about the plot and
the actual, and I just would have liked a little bit more like,
just a little.
Well, why are they crazy? Like, because I kept getting hung up on, they say a lot of times that he's only there for 4 weeks. He's supposed to be there for 4 weeks, and then they're supposed to come and pick him up, but there's a storm.
Yes.
And because he murdered the seabird, which was graphic and upsetting.
Tis bad luck to murder a seabird.
Bad luck to kill a seabird.
More tall tales.
Bad luck to kill a seabird.
I think that scene where he murdered the bird was the most upsetting.
Absolutely.
Like the scariest part of the movie.
I mean, it wasn't scary, but it was upsetting.
It was scary that he was so violent. Like his behavior, that behavior to me was the scariest thing that happened.
Sure, well.
To me.
I mean, yes. His behavior develops then. I mean, we'll talk about it.
But that felt the most violent to me. And maybe it's because it had to do with an animal and that's more
than
to
when
me.
he, like, murders Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, and then he buried him alive. You know, it was like a slow.
Oh, sure.
It was less violent. It was less ragefully.
Sure, it was less crime of passion. What's that called? Like
like when he just like literally
grabs the bird and then
to death for a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, they did say at the end no birds were harmed, so obviously, but that was the most viscerally upsetting to me.
Sure.
I did love at the end, the credits are rolling, and it literally said Seagull Unit.
Love it.
And there was a lot of names.
I mean, I love that they had a seagull unit for the shallows.
Well, oh yeah, obviously.
So it's like and parallels again. It's weird. Polishing lighthouses.
I saw you sparring with the seabird over there. Leave him alone. Ah!
Oh my god, it's so stupid. It's amazing to me how many movies there have been where birds or seagulls or whatever just
show up.
It's weird. But anyway, should we talk about when Robert Pattinson just goes full Dom and then turns Willem Dafoe into his dog?
I was like, yes, what's this? I love it. I was so excited because it was so fucking weird.
It was a lot.
It didn't last long enough for me.
No. Do we think he fucked him?
Yes.
Okay. I thought so. I thought so.
I think when he was fucking the mermaid in his head, he was fucking Willem Dafoe.
When was he fucking the mermaid?
Remember they have like a montage.
Yes.
And he keeps seeing that blonde guy, which I'm assuming is the person that died in the woods.
Oh, I thought that was just blonde him.
No, I think it was a different person.
Oh.
And I assumed it was the guy. So he used to be a lumberjack or whatever.
Right.
And some guy died.
Right.
And kind of blames himself, but it wasn't exactly his fault. And so he assumed that guy's life because he had some bad past or something.
Sure.
So I inferred, I think that was like the person that he killed. Or that died.
Right.
But they had like a whole montage.
Because there were the logs in the water.
Yeah. And they had a whole montage of him and her and
he discovers this mermaid right.
And then he fucks the mermaid. She has like a full
that like vaginal
vagina in her tail.
Yeah.
And so I assumed that when he was fucking the mermaid, he was fucking Willem Dafoe.
I thought that was intercut with him beating it in the shack.
Maybe it was. I
don't remember. But definitely
he beat it so hard that he like collapsed.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because
he was really having a crazy making moment.
Yeah. That was wacky.
It was wacky.
He's like covered in soot, like, feeding a furnace. And then he's just wearing suspenders and pants, and he's jerking it. And did he have a hat on at that point? I feel like he had a hat on at that point.
I don't think he did.
I think at some point he did. Like, it was like a fireman catalog.
Yes, it was.
Calendar, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like a fireman calendar.
A little bit with like
he had like the hat and the suspenders, and he was like jerking it.
But they were like lowered. And so then, like, his tush came out when he, like, fell down. I was waiting for it to, like, roll over and have, like, his floppy dick. It also seemed like he did have cum on his chest at one point. Notice that. No, okay, here's the question.
It's hard to tell with the black and white.
Well, it was. I was like, is that sweat? Or it looks more, I don't know. Here's a question.
Maybe it was mermaid jizz.
Well, because, so when
he
sneaks up and looks up at Willem Dafoe in the light room.
Yes.
Right?
In the top of the lighthouse?
Yes, the top of the lighthouse. Well, the light room, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just like Willem Dafoe's ass. Like, he was like taking all of the... He was like naked up in the lighthouse.
Well, yes.
No, you're not talking about that.
No, I'm talking about when we're supposed to believe that Willem Dafoe is fucking the siren mermaid.
When was Willem Dafoe fucking the mermaid?
Up in the light room. And he's like, oh, he's like moaning or whatever, right? And then there's the slime dripping down onto...
Oh, that!
But at first it looked like it wasn't slime, and I was like, wait,
yeah.
Is it not slime, but he's kind of in crazy siren mode?
There were tentacles, too.
There was then a tentacle.
So I thought, oh, Willem Dafoe is like turning into like a Cthulhu monster, and he's like shedding his exoskeleton, and he's gonna be like, or whatever, and then he's gonna like fuck Robert Pattinson with the tentacles.
Like Men in Black.
Yeah, I thought that was where it was going. I really thought someone was gonna get fucked by a tentacle, I'll be honest. It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. But when he was like, good boy, bark like a dog.
Oh boy.
Good boy, now roll over.
Oh.
Then I was like, oh, I think we know where this is going. Which is pretty upsetting when you think about it, that he beat him up, he did rape him. Yeah. We're assuming. And then buried him alive. Yeah. Almost alive.
It's funny, like, when you say it out loud, I'm like, oh boy, that sounds like one of the darker movies I've ever seen. But somehow... It wasn't like, oh, fuck.
It wasn't The Tribe.
Oh, boy, it wasn't.
Daddy! Who's a good boy?
Which I'm glad. Yeah. You know, I didn't enjoy watching that film.
No.
A piece of me is missing.
I enjoyed watching this film, although there were parts that I did enjoy.
More than The Tribe.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That is the bleakest, most upsetting movie I've ever seen.
It's right up there with Once Were Warriors, which you haven't seen.
Right.
It's like, I think because I was hungover when we were watching The Tribe, I might have like dozed a bit, so I didn't fully, the impact wasn't. No, it was really, but they're both, oh my god. Anyway, let's move forward.
Yeah.
Now I'm a wiki, and a wiki is I. Everything he said was like a poem.
The way he would rock, too, it was like a mixture between the Abraham Lincoln at Disneyland and like a Pirates of the Caribbean character.
Well, he did have some sort of problem with his leg. It was like it wasn't a peg, well, it could have been, but we never saw it. He had a limp.
Sure, but then he talked about it like he lost his leg, but then that story I guess didn't add up, and then the grass, remember the eating the grass story that supposedly was a lie?
Oh, right.
At a certain
because
point,
of the scurvy. I mean, it's all a fever dream.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing's a fever dream. You can't trust anything.
Right.
And that's the point. It's supposed to sort of make you crazy as you're watching them be crazy, you know.
Now, what were they eating? If the food went bad at a certain point.
No, that wasn't, the rations was all the alcohol that was getting damp. Remember they dug up that big crate? He was like, the rations, they're getting damp. And he was like, get over here. And then they dug up a big crate of whiskey.
But if it's a bottle, how can it get damp?
You know, they were crazy. I don't know.
Okay.
But that is what happened.
So it wasn't the food that was the problem.
I don't think so.
Because I was like, I would assume that they would be running out of food at a certain point. If we're supposed to believe that they've been there for that long. Also, though, what storm actually lasts that long? Yeah, and there was some throwaway line from Willem Dafoe. Oh, there was like a 7-month-long storm that like off the shore.
How the lighthouse is so far out to sea that the storm never got blown away, even though the storm wasn't on the mainland. You know,
it's not science.
I mean, I think he was crazy, fucking the light in the lighthouse, you know. Take all the light, give me all the light.
It was very like, my precious.
Yes. Is that sawdust in ye nethers? Remember, he said that at some point. Willem Dafoe was like, yeah, sawdust in your nethers.
What does that mean?
It's like dry down there, I think.
Oh. Or maybe because he was on the ground and like the floor of the...
Oh, you just went literal.
I don't know.
Can we talk about the outfits?
Yeah.
It was all very, New England LL Bean, big chunky sweaters, big heavy utility overalls, slickers.
Yep.
I liked it.
It was very period. Like, it was good.
But I liked it.
Sure.
I was into the overalls. I liked it.
It was funny because, like, so often, part of me was like, would I want to live on that? Like, if it was me and Robert Pattinson on this island, we'd be fine.
I mean, I was surprised they didn't just start fucking.
I mean...
Or were they? But they would have shown
No,
it.
I don't think they were.
They would have shown
I don't think they were. It wasn't...
I'm saying if they were, they would have just shown
Yes,
it.
yes,
This
yes.
movie wasn't going to shy away from that, Like,
right.
Oh.
No. I don't think that they were. Although I guess it did shy away from it if, in fact, he did...
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll never know.
We'll never know. So at the same time that I would be like, oh, it'd be fine, like watch some Netflix, read a book, whatever.
Well,
now, exactly.
1990.
But back then, like with the fucking bedpans was an absolute deal breaker. No way, no how. Disgusting. In the goddamn bedroom? No.
Yeah.
Why did they have an outhouse or like some sort of...
You feel like if it was Robert Pattinson, he was doing all this manual labor,
Build a fucking shed on the side of the thing. And
dig a hole at least.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have a bucket out the window for all I care. Just like a space shuttle, where it's like we gotta send it out into space.
But I do think that this is the kind of movie I wish Michael Fassbender was doing.
Well, I also was like, oh, if it was Robert Pattinson and Michael Fassbender, is his like daddy or
his Lighthouse
older
daddy?
self?
Well, okay, so halfway through the movie, it's revealed that Robert Pattinson has been lying and that his real name is Tom. And earlier we found out that Willem Dafoe's real name is Tom. And I was like, ooh, loving this. I thought
a wiki is me and a wiki is you and a wiki is I.
Wiki and who is me? I was like, oh my God, it's going to be so amazing. Robert Pattinson's been here for 40 years and he's just talking to himself and he's this crazy lighthouse keeper and it's all been a fantasy and none of it's real, or is it? Or I don't know. And all of it because he killed that seabird 40 years ago and now he's cursed to live on the lighthouse island. And I was like so excited for it to be like, oh, yes, they were the same person the whole time. It didn't happen.
I would have loved that.
I would have loved that.
But also I would have loved it if it was Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
I mean, Willem Dafoe was great.
Fantastic for what this is.
But like if it was like, oh, Robert Pattinson turned into Michael Fassbender and they're crazy and then they...
But you like that more than just them... having a sexy...
I'm also fine with just the two of them having their Brokeback Mountain Lighthouse edition where they live on this island together.
Yeah.
Where does that go, though?
Oh, I like that, though.
Yeah.
No, it's like, oh, well, they can't be gay in public.
So they're like gay lighthouse attendants together.
So they're like,
I love that.
Like, we'll go tend the lighthouse, no big deal, but whatever, yeah. And then they go, and there can be some drama.
Sure. Maybe there's like a new attendant has to come in or something or whatever, and
it's like a third person.
They get rotated.
Throws off the
the
dynamic.
Oh, we can't sleep in the same bed.
But then
together.
they have to like sneak around. Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like a very different movie.
Yeah.
But more my kind of movie.
Yeah, but it's like the English Patient, Lighthouse edition homoerotic.
Yes. With the same outfits. But
same outfits.
brighter colors, more romantic of like a mane. Isn't this lovely? Ooh, it's a little it's more like the Cape Cod chips bag and less like the
100%.
This is misery, I want to die category.
I really want to watch this movie.
They garden together.
It's gonna be great. They're all living off the grid.
There's like an old windmill maybe.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, they can fuck in like a haystack in the old windmill.
Love it. Yeah.
But that's where they get discovered and it's like a whole dramatic.
Yeah.
And then they murder. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it ends up nice. Everything is nice, and they grow old together on the lighthouse, and it's great.
Oh, I do love that. Like the old lighthouse keepers.
Yes. That's the Oprah's book club book right there.
Oh my God, yes.
The Lighthouse Keepers.
Yeah. Yes. It's mostly all been from Robert Pattinson's perspective.
Of him slowly descending into madness.
But, so, I mean, I guess that's interesting too, where, like, you wouldn't be able to tell that you're both going crazy. You would just feel like you're going crazy.
Right.
But if they're both going crazy, then, like, they're drinking turpentine.
Oh my God! So they run out of whiskey, and so they're just drinking turpentine and honey. That's what I was like. Oh, it's a bridge too far. You can't come back from this.
No.
I did like their last big blowout fight, and they're fighting, and they go through all these emotions. And it's like, well, should we punch each other? Should we kiss?
Right.
Should we fight? Let's spoon. Like, it was like all of these things at once, and then it was just like cut to them like spooning each other, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? Yes. Then he was like
on his chest, just like talking.
They're like, anyway, so now that we had that long fight,
right.
It was very Cassavetes. It was very just like this intimate portrait of a marriage, you know?
Yeah.
On a lighthouse where they're going insane and there's like tentacle porn. It was like a lot.
It was a lot. I didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it at a certain point because it is sort of about this an allegory for like a marriage or a partnership dissolving, right, basically, or a friendship dissolving or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is like what I wanted Midsommar to be. Like, this is an entertaining horror movie about a breakup.
Sure.
Kind of. I was into it. There was also something, you don't care because you haven't seen Twilight, but there was something sort of delightful about Robert Pattinson, teen idol, Edward Cullen, like, black and white, jerking it in a lighthouse, fucking a mermaid with Willem Dafoe, treating him like a dog, like, going all out, barfing, just like being, there was something that, maybe equivalent to like Elizabeth Berkley and Showgirls, like from Saved by the Bell, where you're just like, okay.
Or like Elijah Wood in Equus, the other one.
Yeah. Yes, like when Daniel Radcliffe did Equus.
Yes.
I'm gonna break away from this teen mold.
Exactly. Forget Harry Potter.
I'm gonna fuck this horse.
I don't think they fuck, do they?
No, he murders them with a spike.
Oh.
It's not a pleasant.
But he's naked. That's all.
I feel like he probably jerks off to the horses too.
Oh God.
I'm sick of you goddamn farts.
Oh my God. I did love this fight when he just went off. You're short. You're whatever, and he's just like,
I'm sick of your farting. Your cooking is bad. You smell.
Yeah.
And you're short.
What if it was a story of like Willem Dafoe was fucking him until then he went crazy enough and was like, no, God damn it.
It was a power or
it was like a power struggle.
Power struggle.
Yeah.
Who's top?
Exactly.
That's what it's called.
Who's top of the lighthouse? See, because he wouldn't let him go to the top of the lighthouse.
You know, it's all coming together. But it was the seabird's revenge after all.
It was. Oh yes. I mean, well, right, because then at the very end they're pecking apart his body. How did he get? Okay.
So he buries Willem Dafoe alive, and then goes to drink more turpentine.
Yes.
Willem Dafoe then is like, it is my life.
So he felt bad, so then he like.
Oh right, he uncovered him. That's right. He kind of.
Yeah, but he seemed already dead.
No, he didn't feel. Well, I think he might have felt a little bad.
But he also went to get the keys. That's right. He went to get the keys.
He had to get to that light.
To get to the light.
'Tis my light.
'Tis my light.
And then he's climbing up the stairs. I gotta get to the light. It's mine. You know. And
so then he goes up into the light spinning around.
Yeah.
Then it stops and the door opens.
Right.
And then he
sees, God or something. He sees something miraculous.
I guess.
We don't know what it is. It's
No.
probably nothing. It's probably just like the light.
It's just the flame, and then he burns himself, and then he falls out and back down and falls down the entire lighthouse.
He falls out of his clothing.
Did he?
No, I'm saying.
Oh,
they dead cut to him on the beach, just butt naked, and the seabirds are just pecking at him.
Right. I was confused by that.
Yeah.
Unless it was, I guess, that we're supposed to believe there was like a sea siren who was in the light.
I would have liked a sassy, we're panning across. Remember the end of Slow West when it pans across all the dead bodies? Like that have throughout.
Yes.
If it was just like Willem Dafoe's body, his body getting eaten by the birds or whatever, and then it pans up to the ocean and we just see a little fin down.
That'd be kind of fun.
Anyway.
Bye. I'm gonna go get some more.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so interesting, important performances. I felt that they were both fantastic.
Yeah.
Honestly,
impressive.
They could both be nominated and I would be happy. I thought they were very good.
Yes. Willem Dafoe's like ye old piratey thing was a little much,
so good next to the crazy, like there was such a good balance between them.
Sure. I mean, if you made it this far, we kind of spoiled everything, but like it's fine. You could still watch it and be like, oh god, yikes.
Because I think you could watch it and interpret it a completely different way, and I think you could see it multiple times and interpret it different ways. So I don't necessarily think you're spoiled, you're fucked.
No.
I would say, go see it. Give some money to independent film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
And Robert Pattinson.
Oh man, and his butt.
It's really got me.
What?